Ahoy, Amiibros! Welcome back to more Devil May Cry. In the last episode, we firmly planted our boots straight up Nello Angelo's ass, sending his ass packing for the second time in a row. This time, get the Pirates of the Caribbean theme ready because, in this episode, we board the ghost ship. We're also going to be dealing with a mechanic that really hasn't aged all that well. In fact, I'd say out of everything in this game, it has aged the worst. Underwater sections. Ugh. Why, oh why, does this game have an underwater section? There are only like 2 in this whole game, and in this episode we're going to be tackling both. So get your sea legs ready because we're about to go underwater. Not yet, but soon. But until then, dear Amiibros, I have a confession to make. I have sinned. Yes, truly, I have sinned. I have committed a cardinal sin that may be very difficult to correct. I am of course talking about me missing the prime opportunity to talk about the grenade launcher last episode. I know, sacrilegious, I know. But allow me the chance to right that wrong by talking about the grenade launcher right here, right now, before we dive underwater. So, the grenade launcher. It is a gun that fires explosive rounds that deal out splash damage to a group of enemies. You get a group of enemies together, you fire the grenade launcher, and you've essentially guaranteed yourself the recovery of 1 DT rune. The grenade launcher is great for those who prefer to use the devil trigger to solve most of their problems. However, this gun does have its drawbacks. Namely that it is terrible against fast-moving enemies like shadows and another enemy we're going to be encountering later on due to the slow movement of the grenade. Its other drawback comes from the fact that you can only fire the grenade launcher from the ground. You can't jump up and fire it like you would the shotgun or ebony and ivory. Lastly, the grenade launcher is also the longest to reload, even longer than the shotgun, making it a very risky tool to use. However, there is a way around the reload animation. Basically, after you fire a round from the grenade launcher, have Dante do a dodge roll, you'll skip the reload animation and you can immediately fire another round from the grenade launcher again. That's why in the previous episode, when I was grinding the blades, you saw me roll out of the way after I fired a round from the grenade launcher. That's the trick to it. But as you saw right there, I couldn't do anything about the blades underwater because I lacked the necessary gun in order to kill them. Right here, though, we pick up the needle gun, the definition of situational. It's a gun that can only be used underwater, and it is your only underwater gun. See, I don't get it. Dante can fire ebony and ivory as much as he wants without reloading any of the clips, but he can't fire them underwater. See, that's the kind of inconsistency that bothers the fuck out of me. But let's talk about the needle gun now. So the needle gun, as mentioned before, it can only be used in underwater sections, and surprisingly, it's the only automatic gun in the whole game. Yeah, fancy that. The darts it fires have pretty large hitboxes, which are able to down underwater enemies, mainly blades, in 6 shots if Dante doesn't get hit. So, I mean, what it excels at, but that doesn't change the fact that it's so situational. Again, why can't Dante just use ebony and ivory while underwater? It makes no sense. And come to think of it, why do I go into a first-person view when going underwater? We've already been underwater if the broken bridge segment is anything to go by. You know, when we were going to obtain the Pride of the Lion? We're underwater in that section. I mean, we'd have to be, because what else is draining our health? And that's another thing. If we're underwater, why isn't our health being drained? I mean, I don't know. See, these are the sections that just aren't well thought out, in my opinion, because they're inconsistent, and it just bothers the fuck out of me. See, it bothers me so much it can't even form a full fucking sentence. Anyway, let's whip out good old Shoddy and deal with this Death Scythe. Yes, the same way you deal with Sin Scythes and Sin Scissors, you also want to use the shotgun against the Death varieties as well. Though with the Death varieties, you do have the ability to harm them more with your Devil Arms than you do the Sin varieties. Of course, the moment your DT runes allow you to Devil Trigger, I'd say just go for that and use Air Raid, because you'll have a much easier time killing them. Because trying to kill them without utilizing your Devil Trigger just takes for fucking ever. You'd sooner die than, you know, kill them with just as regular Dante. Look at that. Look how quick that is. That scythe doesn't hit me in the slightest. Recover all my DT runes, get some green and red orbs. I'd say we're pretty good for whatever comes our way. Switch back to good old Ebony and Ivory. And let's set sail. I'm half tempted to call Ebony and Ivory good old salt and pepper. I mean, they don't look like salt and pepper shakers, obviously, though that would be really cool to have in a household. You know, just salt and pepper shakers that look like Ebony and Ivory. But no, they're colored like salt and pepper shakers. I think that's what I'm gonna call them from now on. Just good old salt and pepper. Gonna season you up, demons. What an ominous yet pleasant boat ride. And it immediately is ruined by this fucking bird. Ugh. If you didn't like the first round with Griffin, you're not gonna like the second round because you get to fight him on the very cramped boat. Do yourself a favor, stick with Alistair. Do not go with Ifrit and your grenade launcher combo. The fight will take for fucking ever. Because the second fight with Griffin, he now employs a red electric familiar that will track you. You'll get sent flying up into the air. Your best bet is to just whip out Ebony and Ivory and just shoot it crazy. However, once Griffin is above the ship and decides to land, go into Devil Trigger, utilize Air Raid, and just drain the fucker's health as fast as you can. This fight with Griffin on the ship sucks because he has those AoE lightning attacks that shoot vertically. And remember, the ship is very cramped. There isn't much room to breathe here. And the camera angle also doesn't do you any favors when you're fighting Griffin here, because you can barely see Dante. Look at that! You saw most of Griffin than you saw Dante. And it was only just recently that I figured out that Alistair was the prime weapon to deal with Griffin quickly. So yeah, do yourself a favor, utilize Alistair, don't utilize Ifrit, save yourself the headache. But other than that, we managed to finish the mission in 7 minutes, and that's another B. Go figure. Another interesting detail I forgot to mention up until now was that depending on what Devil Arm you finish the mission with determines the way the mission clear sign will look. So say if you finish the Ghost Ship mission with Ifrit equipped, the mission clear sign will be enveloped in fire instead of lightning. Pretty cool detail. Anyway, we start out mission 13 Abyss with grabbing the Staff of Hermes, and that was a bad because now the ship capsizes. Well, it was nice while it lasted. One mission, I guess. You know what that means? Another underwater section! Yay! I fucking love these, said no one ever. It's also a shame, too. I was kind of hoping we saved the ship. Though where Dante would park it, I have no idea. Does Dante have a boating license? Probably not. Anyway, let's get out of this ship. It gives me the creeps. Besides, Captain Bobbery would be very, very disappointed in Dante for not knowing how to captain his ship. Although technically it's not Dante's ship, it's the ship that leads into the underworld. And I have no idea. Surprisingly enough, though, we can still use the God of Time statue, and I'm going to be using it to buy another blue orb. So that way, our health bar now has a second one. Well, part of a second one, I guess. It's like a little smidge, as you're about to see. But the ship didn't sink alone, or we're not the only ones on this ship. We've got blades, but this time we're armed. Now, a cool thing about the needle gun is that when a blade fires, it's, for lack of a better word, spikes at you. You can utilize the needle gun to deflect their oncoming attacks and save yourself the damage, which is really cool. Just a shame we can't use the needle gun above land. You know, it's got to be situational and prefer the water. Fucking picky bitch. Anyway, let's take care of this blade here. And we've opened up the way. But we're not going to be leaving this ship quite yet. as over here, there's a blue orb fragment by swimming down. You can generally tell where a secret area is in the ship, at least underwater, depending on where the blue flames are. Just pay attention to those, and you should have an easy time navigating around, because the underwater controls, as you saw previously, they're very, very, like, I don't want to say finicky, but they're weird. They're awkward, you know, because personally, I'm not a fan of inverted controls. I prefer up is up and down is down. I know, very weird of me, but that's just the way I prefer it. And unfortunately, Devil May Cry, at least the first Devil May Cry, is not very considerate to your feelings, because the controls, be it underwater and when you get to the final boss, are forced to be inverted. You can't change them no matter what you do. And it makes the final boss fight, as well as the underwater sections, a massive pain in the ass. But I'll save my thoughts for the final boss when we get to the final boss. Anyway, let's kill these blades and get the fuck off this ship. Swim, Dante, swim! Not into the blade, you fool. Alright, well, I guess we gotta deal with this blade too. You can call me mean names underwater. Don't ask how I know that. I just do. Okay, let's please get the fuck off the ship. I'm tired of the first person view. Anyway, that's mission 13 in 3 minutes and 32 seconds, and we're rewarded with an S rank! Finally, we break the streak of Bs. Jesus! And we got a lovely ranking bonus to make up for it. That's 2,000 red orbs. Nearly 3,000. Hey man, I'm not complaining, and I'm more than made up for the amount of red orbs I spent on the blue orb I got. So yay! But as you can see, mission 14 hasn't begun yet. We have to make our way back up to the door. But we're still not done with these underwater sections. Oh no. Because in fact, another secret mission is activated. So we have to return back to the ship, go right back to the captain's quarters, because that's where the secret mission was located, and activate it that way. Or access it that way, not activate it. It's already activated. Silly Vinny. I think you've been underwater for far too long. Well, if I have, it's because the developers made it that way. But then again, these are the only underwater sections in the whole game. If I could say anything positive about them, is that they're only there for 2 missions, that's it. Really, only 1 mission has you in it fully, and yeah, because mission 12, you weren't in the water the whole time, but nah. Anyway, by going back to the captain's quarters, we activate another secret mission, Water Cell. Eliminate all the blades and escape from the labyrinth. Basically, just kill all the blades. There are only 8 of them. But be quick with your trigger finger and make sure you're well accustomed to the underwater controls, because these blades can dogpile you with their spikes. And somehow I got a stylish underwater with the needle gun. Let's play first, ladies and gentlemen. Let's play first. Anyway, this secret mission can be a bit of a pain depending on how well accustomed you are to the underwater controls, but you can always tell where the blades are because of the black outlines they have. Though I will say, if you are aquaphobic in video games, this secret mission can be rather intimidating, because you have this foreboding-ass underwater music, and you have all these blades, like, surrounding you, and it's in first person, too. It's like, ugh. Creepy, I know, but the secret mission isn't too tough. Depending on what blade you kill, they'll drop a green orb, allowing you to recover some of your health. They'll mostly drop red orbs, though, so again, all the more important that you're quick on the draw with your needle gun. But as you can see, we only have 1 more blade to eliminate, and he's right there! Nice blade crotch. For that, you're getting a needle shoved up there. And with that, we collect our next blue orb fragment. And that'll be it for this episode, folks. Next time on Devil May Cry, we move on to Mission 14. See you guys then.